What is going on, herd? Welcome back to the channel and thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we begin a new series, a series that I would like to think has been anticipated, a series that I would like to think people want to see, but you're gonna have to let me know. God damn it, let me know on that, see if that is the case. Today we begin the series where I review my fan base's created content, specifically drift tracks. So I want to make a point and tell you guys why we're doing this series. I would like to raise more awareness to the community of people that are good creators and people that are good drifters, people that are mature, people that can handle their way, and people that are contributing to the community. I'm not alone. There are many people. One thing I will say, and I want to make clear, is that I am only on Xbox One now. I don't have my PS4 anymore. The PS4 is gone. I had it in my garage gym, got covered in dust, and it would not read games anymore. So how can you get featured on this? Well, obviously we're limited to Xbox One now. So that's your first thing. Second thing, you're going to want to be part of the crew, the Black Sheep Drift community. When you do publish that job, it'll show up in the crew, in the created jobs. And three, it's really going to be your thumbnail. We need to see a good thumbnail. That's all I get to judge it off of. Now, I also want to add here, guys, that there's 1,277 published jobs in my crew already, prior to me even starting this. And I do want to make my way through that and look at the best of the jobs. So I've made it through 500 of the jobs, and I've gotten about 20 to 30 jobs that are going to be featured here. You'll see the name of the title and you will see the creator. And that's where we're going to be going in today. Don't know how many jobs we're going to be able to feature per episode, so I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into this thing. Now, I will admit to you guys that I already recorded this first episode. I made it through 4 tracks, and I looked over, my Elgato was not recording. Once again, god damn it! Coming back a couple hours later, I've already wasted half of my day off, and we haven't even recorded one video yet. Obviously, this isn't going to be the most organic of reactions. However, this is still going to be worthwhile, because these first 4 tracks that I did look at, I enjoyed them. So first off, we have the Atomic Tire Drift Park. And this is going to be produced by B2P Prod. So B2B Productions, I guess, is probably what he's standing for there. So the Atomic Tire Drift Park. Alright guys, so as stated, it's not going to be so much of a reaction in this first episode, unfortunately, because I already have reacted to them. But there is going to be a full review. I will give these things a grade, a 1 out of 10. It's just going to be a 1 out of 10 based on everything that I see. Now, I do already know this track. This track is a lot tighter than a normal track that I would build. However, it's still a good time. Had a good time drifting this thing the first time around, that is. Let's see how we do the second time around. As you can see right there is kind of what I'm talking about the really tightness. It doesn't allow you to really get a bunch of crazy speed going. It's a very slow moving track. Oop. And as you see right in here, it's just very, very tight. This is almost like it's been single gear drift oriented. However, there is a couple drifts that I don't know if you could get single gear. So I don't know if this is meant to be a single gear track or if it's meant to be a clutch kicking track, but I would almost say it's meant to be a single gear track, in all honesty. So as you can see, pretty decent track. I did enjoy this, like I said, but the only complaint I really had is how dang tight it is. That's probably the biggest part, that there's no way in hell you're going to link that single gear unless you're going side to side. Very, very tight in some of these areas. Places where they probably potentially could be opened up quite a bit more, but like I said, I think that's really one of the only complaints I have on the dang thing. I do like this, the more of the planky. This is the slipperiest, I should say, the slipperiest compound that you can use for track creation. So yeah, this track you're definitely going to be doing some clutch kicking in some areas. You'll be able to do that, but a lot of it's going to be some single gear action as well. So kind of utilizing both of the ways, which is kind of fun. And that's where we'll lead this one off with. So the Atomic Tire Drift Park, it is a fun little track to be on. You're going to exit the track here, and you can go deliver the clipping points. Now there is kind of a little road up here that is a tar road. He's bringing you down, but it's nothing more than just the stock road. So you guys can drift that in normal free mode if you really wanted. So we won't bring you down that. But all in all, definitely a fun little track. Pretty well put together. Definitely some time and effort went into this one. And you can tell in the thumbnail, as I said, that's really all I have to judge by. And so when I'm looking at that thumbnail, I don't want to just see some tires stacked up on the airport and that's the drift track. I'm not going to be reviewing those ones for good reason, obviously. There's tons and tons of those. There's no way we'll make it through the series. So let's give this thing a quick grade, and I'll give you the grade that I did give it the first time. I gave this thing a 7 out of 10. Although you're going to get a good time in the drifting, a lot of people are looking for the clutch kick ability nowadays. They want those longer drifts. They want the ability to link it up. Although you can link this whole track and have a good time on it, it's predominantly a single gear track with only the use of a couple corners going to be that clutch kicking. So I gave it a 7 out of 10, which is obviously a 70%. Still pretty dang good. And for the first track that we look at, not bad at all. Blue Ridge Drift World for the second on the list. Now the creator on this one, I did forget to tell you guys that one, but not to worry because he's actually going to be showing up again in the same episode here as the number 4 track. So I'll tell you who the creator was in just a second. It was something like something Clutch 1, MGL Clutch 1 or something like that. And we are off. Now I'm going to tell you guys right away, my biggest complaint on this one is the first thing we're running into, the bump. It's not an inset track. And also, it's one of the most sticky compounds as well. It's the track itself, the stunt track. Now, not to worry because you still can drift this thing, but I'm just going to give you guys a heads up right away. It's not going to be as great, and we're off! It's not going to be as great of a slip and slide as you have gotten acquainted with the last one. And here we're going to hit a bump right there. That's not good for the car. And it straightened us out too. It really messed us up there. Really messed us up. So the bumps are not on par on this one. Still a good track. You're going to get a lot of long drifts on this one. Oh my goodness. So as much as wouldn't say complain, but as much as we stated, the last one you're not going to get much for long drifts. That's what you're going to get on this one. And I'm messing it up terribly here, too. I should just shut up and do it. We're going to whip it around and go backwards. Now, if you think that bump is bad, there's worse on this track, unfortunately. And right there is the worst bump on the track, right there. See, here's very difficult to hold a drift over that one. Oh. Well, the issue is we didn't do the best job on this one with insetting it. Now, right here is what I wanted to show you. There's no way you're going backwards on this one because, yeah, obviously, you're not going to make it up this one. But with that stated, obviously the stickier compound with the track, it is still a lot of fun on this track. This one is quite a bit of fun. I wish he would have inset it. Hopefully he's watching this video or gets maybe a suggestion to watch the video in the future. Maybe fix this track up a little bit and make it even better for us. That's the only suggestion I have. Obviously, we're not going to complain too much about the terrain here because that's part of it. You know, people look for different things in different drift tracks all the time. So some people may really, really like this terrain. Even though it's stickier, it's still fun. And like I said, I'm just kind of stuck in this area now unless I go off the end of the track. So This one I gave a 6 out of 10, simply because there could have been a little bit more time put into it. We do get more props now too, so as I said, he may be able to come back to this and make it even better now, maybe linking some of these ends together and just making this thing a better track all in all. But a 6 out of 10 is where we give this thing. If you want to download it, go ahead and go and download it. We already gave you the title of it, and let's move on from there. So the MLG Clutch 1 was the creator, MLG Clutch 1. Now the Cranstonburg Drift Circuit, and as you see, we have another B2P production. Now here's where I'm going to show you guys. Look at the actual thumbnail. It's intense. There's a lot going on. Hence the reason I have downloaded it. Now I'm just going in alphabetical order to get these first ones done. It won't necessarily be that way as we move forward, so don't name your track AAAA or something like that and thinking you're going to be on the next episode. Not going to work that way. Cranstonburg Drift Circuit, and this one was kind of a tough one for me to get down. It wasn't necessarily the drift word, it was like, where the heck do I go? And I think you guys will understand that in just a second. Now, as stated, this one was a little tougher to figure out, but once I looked at the actual track itself, I figured it out pretty quickly. He has it pretty well labeled out. Now keep in mind, this is the same creator as that first one, the Atomic Drift Tire, so it's a little bit tighter of a course. It's just his style of making it from what I get to see so far. Now here's the deal. I'm going to be able to drift this course right through. I might make a mistake or whatever, but I'm going to show you why it was a little bit more difficult here in just a second. So you see the arrow right there. Come this way. He's got a line on the track right here. Gonna come wide over here and get a clutch kick it again. Come flying back across. And you can just keep going in the figure 8 manner from here now. Well, not really figure 8, but you know what I'm saying. Kind of in that similar sense. Oh, and we crash. So this track I actually like. I think this is a lot of fun once you get it down. It's got some really swoopy drifts like this one and the one that where you come back around the same corner, and I really like that. And then this one obviously too, you got to come in with some speed and really commit. Messed that one up a little bit. Had to straighten out. And this is a nice short track, so we're going to make it nice and short for this and just give it its grade. Now, this is the best one that I've referred to so far, and I did give this thing a 7.5 out of 8. A couple of things that he could have done differently is it's a little bit tight in the one area where you're coming through that first section, that first little circle. So I don't know if he intended it to be a single gear drift, but that's all you're really going to be able to do. Everywhere else, I think this thing is really good. First time around, I actually gave this thing a 7.5. I think I'm going to give it an 8 now, getting to play it here the second time. This is a fun little track. Now, this isn't going to be a track where you can run a bunch of people at the same time, because if you're running this way and someone's coming the other way, you're going to be down. But it's definitely a track where you can run 2 people, tandem it up, maybe even 3 people, and get some real good little tandems going. A lot of fun on this little track, I will say that, definitely. So 8 out of 10 on this one. If you want to go download it, I already gave you that name. Go and do it. So back at it with Drift AF1, and look at who the creator is. Same one as the second, the MLG Clutch 1. Now this one you may be saying, Black Sheep, I thought you weren't going to go to the airport and see this and that. Well, you can tell just from the thumbnail itself that he has inset props, and that's enough for me to go check it out. If it looks decent and he has some inset props, it means there's been some time spent on this one. Alright guys, so this one we are on the actual map itself, the normal asphalt. And this is an interesting one. Again, this is going to be a long drifter. Kind of we got 2 completely opposite creators. One is doing the real long drifts, and one is doing more of the tight-knit stuff. Oh, almost got claimed victim by one of the issues with this track right there. And that is the track bringing us back to the front. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer because some people say, oh, Black Sheep, you can't drift. Black Sheep, you're drifting like hell. I'm showing you live. I am talking the same time I'm drifting, okay? Now, many of these drifters don't even talk in their videos. Secondly, people, I'm not going to name names, but some of the other more successful YouTubers, they record their drifting for an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then they talk over their best lines. So they're only showing you their best lines. I don't do that. I think that's not organic. I think that's silly. Now, it's fooling some of you guys. Some of you guys think, oh, these guys are so good of drifters. Well, I can drift for an hour, hour and a half, and only show you 3 lines, and they're going to look really good. Now, I just showed you the very first drift through this dang thing, trying to link it up. This is the second one, as I'm talking and drifting, and I'm messing up terribly. But I'm just trying to tell you guys that that's a big thing that I've done since day one. I talk live as I'm drifting. I don't try to just make it look like I'm some big badass drifter and I'd never make mistakes. I think that's absolutely silly. Everybody makes mistakes. So definitely a little bit longer of a track, definitely some longer drifts in this thing, but as you can see, like this issue right here, we're going to drive through the track once and kind of show you why I'm going to give it the grade I give it. A decent track, I like it, it's fun, it's something new, it's something that's unique. I don't see many tracks that are like this, but there's a couple issues that can certainly be cleaned up on this one as well. Now you come in through here, I'm not going to drift it, I'm just going to drive through. You come in through here, you whip it around, and you got on the left, you got all these yellow things ready to claim you. Now, obviously, he put those in there intentionally, so I doubt he'll ever take those out, and I'm not complaining about that. What I am complaining about is when you come around here, you're coming around, and your car is like, unless you have a perfect drift, it's going to run right into this area. That's where it wants to come around to. You need to have a lot of speed and full commitment, or you're going to hardly make it around that. Now, once you come around there, you're going to have a lot of speed, so you have this to avoid. You have the stop sign to avoid, and if you're coming out wide, you now have this to avoid as well. Coming around here, if you can avoid all that, you're going to come around. You got a nice little open area to come around, but you're going to want to hug this inside if you took a certain point. Well, what's on the inside but something that's going to take you out again? So you need to hug the outside. Now, this just made this a lot longer of a drift. Now you have this sitting there. You got that sitting there. You got some more stairs on the outside. You got a plane here. Now, I like the plane. I'm not really complaining about that. But there's a lot of issues here with things that are ready to claim your car and total you out. In my opinion, it's going to claim too many people. We don't have that many super skilled drifters that are going to be able to link that up without completely just demolishing them and anybody behind them for that matter. So I did give this thing a 6 out of 10, a 60%. Simply for the matter of there's a few things that definitely should be fixed in here. It's kind of like it was quickly put together, even though it probably wasn't quickly put together, simply because he had to inset all of these tracks. These are tracks just like he used in his other one, but they're down in the ground, so we only have the barrier. So with that said, guys, let's move on to the next one. Now, I am going to stride and try to get a 5th in here, and I have not seen this track yet. I only did 4 in the first one. It went a little slower. I didn't know what to expect, so it took me a little longer, but I'm going to shoot for 4 or 5 in each episode, depending on how long they are and all that good stuff, how much review needs to go through them. But this one is going to be the 5th one, and you are going to get an organic reaction to it. So here we have Drift Whip by Dayashi. I have actually drifted with Dayashi before. I actually just drifted with him the other day. Again, we're going to look at, I'm going to point finger at the thumbnail. I can tell that there's block-oriented. I know he used the tires as the barriers, but that's just fine because it's the block-orient. He put some time into this thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, Drift Whip. Alright, so obviously he's going to lead us over to the track itself. Wrong way. Okay, so we don't have a checkpoint kind of facing the direction we're going, so that's why you're seeing the wrong way. But let's do this thing. Okay, so you noticed you didn't see the tire marks, the first one, and back on that block again. That's because this block was laid first, and all the props were laid on top of it. If this block was actually taking out, and he relayed it, we would see the tire smoke again. Okay, and that looks like it's actually the end of the track, so let's try to hit this thing up again here. Not a bad little track, pretty short. Definitely throws me off not seeing the tire smoke. Not the tire smoke, but the actual tire marks themselves. So pretty short, pretty easy. I mean, not a bad track by any means. The only issue I can see on this one right away is that I don't like that. I don't like that you're not able to see the block. Now, if the creator is watching, I did explain how he can change that. Now, sometimes it's a little bit easier said than done to do that because there's so many props already placed, it won't let you place it, so you might have to place a couple different block props to make it up. But if you do place the actual ground itself as one of your final props, that's how you're going to be able to see the tire smoke again. It's happened to me on some of my jobs. I just got to go back and change them up once I realize it. But with the short track, that's pretty much the extent of it. Out of 10, I would probably give this thing a good 7. Again, here, he's put some time into it. He's laid the block basis. It's a short track, otherwise it probably would have gotten a little bit more. But again, he's using the tires as the outside barrier, so that really, really robs you of your props. It really takes a lot of props to make this thing happen, instead of actually laying the blocks as your like, road or your path, so to speak. But still, this is a unique style of build, and that is exactly what we're looking for in this series. Now, as you've seen, he used the blocks. I've seen it in the thumbnail that he used the blocks. He obviously put some time into it. That is exactly what we're looking for in this series. So again, 7 out of 10 on this one. That's going to end up this first episode of this. If you guys did enjoy me coming out here and testing out the fan base's tracks, certainly leave a like below and let me know that you enjoyed this so I continue on with it. If I don't get the turnout, basically the views, the likes that I would expect to see on something new, I'm not going to continue on and going down that road. Of course, we'll do another episode or two and really make sure that it is worth the time. However, like I said, I need to know pretty quickly if you guys enjoy this style of content or if you guys would like to see me spend my time on something new. With that said, guys, I appreciate you all tuning in, liking, comment, and subscribe, and sharing the videos if you're sharing the videos. If you're not sharing the videos, just know that that is something that helps greatly with the growth of this channel. If you don't want to share them, well, so be it. But don't ask for all kinds of content if you're not willing to help the channel. All right, as always, I hope you all stay happy, stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.